How are you guys doing? Good? Thumbs up for good, thumbs down for bad, middle if we're just here. It happens. I'm excited to get to hang out with you guys today. I'm gonna give a couple more minutes, let everybody jump in, and then we're gonna start dancing. Did you guys know this is a choreographed dance practice? Did everybody get that memo? We had to change it the last minute. It was a request, and I was like, I'll go with request. So
I'm excited.
good. I thought you'd been practicing. I could tell. I like it. My man. Well, sweet. I think looks like we're about ready. Is everybody feeling good? You want me to go ahead and start? Is that okay? You all ready? Excellent. Okay. It's cut down. Let me see. I want to see more of you. I can only see three of you guys, which is great. Makes me feel like I'm on American Idol, but I am going to extend the screen so I can see more of you, more of your lovely faces. Okay. Awesome. So in the lower left-hand corner, you can see the link. That's a short link. If you want, bit.ly, bit.ly/Google Time Hacks. Google Time Hacks. Raise your hand if you have been to any of the other presentations I've gotten the chance to do. Oh, what's up? Look at that. High fives. I'm just high-fiving every single one of you guys. If I just start hitting my screen, that'd be terrible. Don't do that, Tyler. Okay. So thank you for coming back and hearing me chat. I'm going to try to give you guys some different avenues. I know last time I talked about some things that I think can help you in the classroom, especially using Google. And also we talked about some resources. I think I shared some resources with you. I'm going to give you a couple more resources today, a couple more quick activities. And honestly, I want to try my best to save time for you guys to ask questions so that I can maybe help you problem solve and work through some stuff. Maybe if you ask for something, I know where something's located, or I have a resource or know where a resource is, and I can give it to you so you don't have to go search the internet. Scavenger hunt, the Google scavenger hunt, if you will. Okay, so here's kind of the template for how I want to roll today. I'm going to roll through a few informational slides, and then I'm going to give you 3 tips I think can save you time, energy, and frustration. And then I'm going to give you 3 resources that we're going to walk through. And you might not use all of those resources exactly like I give them to you, but I'm going to talk through how you can delete, change, and adapt that resource to make it something that might be more applicable for your class. And then we'll go through and answer as many questions as we can. Okay. If you get the chance and you want to, if you text teacher to that number on that first slide, anytime I make a new resource, I text it out onto there. If I go live, say I go live on YouTube or something, I'll usually text and be like, hey, I'm going live in 10 minutes. I'm going to talk about Google Slides if you want to join. And so I usually text once every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's not like I'm going to be like, hey, what's up? What you doing? You know what I mean? I'm not going to get weird, but it is a good way for me to connect and send stuff to you guys, because every now and then people get tired of email. I don't know why I sing. I've never had a formal lesson. A lot of people can't guess that I've never had formal training, but you know, I get it all the time. Okay, enough of that, Tyler. So if you haven't had a chance to join me, I won't talk about myself too much. I'm the dean of a college currently, and I have taught high school math. I've taught some instructional. I was a tech facilitator for a district for a while, and then I was the principal of a 6th through 12th grade building that had in-person, online, and hybrid learning. So we got the chance to kind of try all the stuff that everybody was required to do in 2020. We got to try it starting in 2013. So that was a fun experience. It's a lot of work. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's a lot of work. I'm just kidding. You know that. And after that, I went to central office, and I was what I like to call a fake assistant superintendent. So I had all the responsibilities of assistant superintendent, but I didn't have to worry about a title or a pay raise. So I just did that for a while. Director of curriculum instruction, communication technology personnel, things like that. Everything but sports and buses. I didn't have to deal with sports and buses unless that got crazy, and then I had to deal with sports and buses. So now I do a lot of stuff for Google, help teachers, help students, and I have a YouTube channel that delivers educational stuff to them. Okay, so I can see that there's about 32 of you guys in the slide right now. At this point, what I would recommend, I don't ever plan on deleting this slide, but if I do, you would lose access to it. So I'm going to walk you through it. If you're on your computer, if you're watching me and you've got the presentation pulled up as well, you can go to File. Do you see where it says File on Google Slides? If you click on that and you go down to make a copy and you say the entire presentation. When you do that, what you've done is you've taken my presentation and you've taken it out and you've made your own copy. So if, let's say tomorrow I wake up, when I wake up and I say, you know what, I'm done with these Google slides, blah, and I delete my account, or I get hacked, okay, by the Russians and they delete all my Google stuff, you would lose it. But if you make a copy of this, you'll always have this. I'm going to tell you guys like a little hack. So if you're ever at a presentation like this, or when someone's presenting and they give you their Google slide presentation, a good way to take notes is to go to File, Make a Copy, and then as they're talking, instead of writing down stuff that you want to use, go in and delete the stuff you don't want to use. So instead of you having to like create something else, you could take their copy of their presentation and be like, I'll never use nothing on this slide. Delete it. I won't use this and this. Delete, delete. You can add in comments for yourself. It's just a more interactive way to take notes when you're watching a presentation, and you can essentially turn it into just what you want. So make a copy of that if you want. That's how you do it. Now, the next two slides, I think these can really help you and your students. Are you guys, whenever, by a show of head nods, whenever you assign something to students, are you doing it to where when you assign it, it makes a copy for each student? Is anybody doing that in classroom? Incredible feature, right? I absolutely love that. When they did that, I was like, Google, you've spoken straight to my heart. And so whenever you're doing that, one of the things that you guys might be running into, well, you wouldn't, your students are incredible, but some teachers might run into are students that are like kind of missing, like skipping bases when they're, you know, when they're rounding the bases of submitting assignments. Like, oh, I submitted it, but they didn't attach anything. Or they say they finished it, but they never submitted it. Or they're not doing like the little things along with learning your assignment or your curriculum that you're trying to teach. What I recommend, this slide 3 and slide 4. So important links and Google Help videos. What I recommend, whenever you give students like a presentation or an assignment or an activity that is in Google Slides, I would recommend coming to this presentation, you take this slide, which is important links, you take this slide, and that's Google Help videos. So you can hold the Shift button, and then you can click both. So you can see how both of them are yellow on the left. I've selected both of them. So now I can take those, I can hit copy for your, if you're on a Mac, it's Command C. If you're on any other device, it's Control C. So I'm going to copy those two slides. Then I can roll over here to, let's see if I can see it. Let me find another presentation that I don't mind getting messy. Oh, cool. Not signed in. Great job, Tyler. You ever use Google? What am I doing? I'm so sorry, everybody. Okay, let's say I want to, let's say I want to create a new presentation. You're going to make a new activity for your students. So I'm going to create a new Google slide. Whenever you're doing this for your students, if you can have little pieces of consistency for them that can help them or be a reference point for them in every single assignment, redundancy is okay when working with students, especially using technology. So if I'm making an assignment and I'm talking about, you know, I don't know, group presentation, and then I'm about to send this to all the students, I just copied those other two slides. Now I can hit Command V if I'm on a Mac, Control V if I am on any other device, and it's going to paste those two slides into this presentation. So whenever I give stuff to my students, I have these two slides. I attach it to every single thing I ever give them because they're going to use Google through the process. I want them to have quick access to the tutorials. Now, if you'll notice, it just asked me a question. You may have seen this if you've ever done a copy paste of slides. You have the option to match the style in the presentation. So instead of like my style where it's got like the red line around it, you can say, no, I want to match the new presentation, and it'll adapt it. You can say keep original styles, which is mine with the red line, or you can keep and link it. This is a really cool feature. So if you did this and then you started linking it, anytime you changed that original, it will automatically change it in those other ones as well. So boom, Now I can go in and I can add more slides and start, and actually it gives me my template. So you now have access to all of those slides that I've made and put in there. So that's kind of cool as well. So there you go. So that's something I would recommend if you're going to do this, is take those 2 slides, copy, and put them into all those presentations. Now, let me explain these 2 slides to you. So this one, important links. This one, I've got like stuff that I've got over here. Once you make the copy, you can delete stuff. Say you're like, you know what, Tyler, I don't need an intro to YouTube course. That's ridiculous. Delete it. Like, you can change it. It's just like an idea for you from the stuff I'm throwing at you. And then you can put important links for your class in here. So like Google Classroom. And then you can link to, you know, Google Classroom. So classroom.google.com. You can link to whatever your school's grading platform is. And Arkansas, they use something called eSchool. It's trash, but they use it. So whenever they do that, we can go in and you can link to your school's eSchool. You can do a school website. And as you build and curate these lists of important links for students and parents, you can always modify them, and then you can like copy paste the best and newest version into any presentation or any assignment you give students. Now, I said that little comment about and parents. Keep in mind, guys, whenever you give an assignment, whenever you assign anything for students, you have to remember there is a good chance at some point their parent is going to step in and try to help, and their parent has no context for any of this stuff. Not only do they might not know how to use Google Classroom because, you know, they didn't use it. They used Trapper Keepers growing up. Not only that, they have no context for what you've taught that student for hours up until this point. They don't know the directions you gave them. So the more simplified you can be, the more, the easier it is for parents to be able to help their kids. So throwing that out there, just something to keep in mind as you assign things to students. Okay, so back in here. I put those 2 slides in. I like to include them in everything. So if you ever want to copy paste them, you can edit them, delete them, change them, whatever you want to make it better for you and your students. Okay, sweet. All right, so I'm going to show you 3 quick tips that I think can save you time, effort, energy, and frustration. First one, quickly insert pictures, GIFs into slideshows, docs, emails. Check this. Okay, so let's say I wanted to insert a picture in the chat. Tell me who the greatest actor or actress of all time is. Somebody tell me in the chat. It's very important, guys. It's very important you get this right. There is a correct answer here. Okay.
Lionel Barrymore.
Who?
Lionel Barrymore.
Lionel? Is that Drew's parents?
Oh, his grandfather.
Okay, Lionel. I'm going to give it a shot. Lionel Barrymore. I would have been, oh my goodness. I definitely, oh, there it is. Okay. So if you ever want to insert an image into, this is a solid image. Look at this, man. Look at that dude. If you ever want to insert an image into a doc or a slideshow or an email, you search Google for it. Then what you do is you click on the image, drag it up to the top where the tabs are, hang out on the tab, it'll pop over, and then you drag it down, boom. It is now in the presentation. No more downloading and then uploading and reinserting anything into there. So like here, I could even do the same with GIFs. So the Office GIF. All y'all's faces just went away on my screen. So I have no idea if you appreciated this tip, but I like to think you did. Okay. So here we go. I hope he don't say anything bad. Oh, that's a good one. Let's do this one. Oh no, let's do this one. Same thing with GIFs. I click on the GIF. I'm watching it roll through. I can click, drag up, drag down, and drop. And it inserts it into my presentation. It allows you to add memes, dynamic pieces to a lot of these presentations that you're doing, and without downloading them all to your computer. So that's a fun one. I don't know if that's revolutionary to you, but it was a big deal for me when I found out. It literally changed my world. I changed my entire will. I gave Google all of my inheritance after this. I'm sorry, kids. This is just too good of a resource. Okay, so that's the first tip. I hope that you can do the same for emails. And if you want to drag a photo into emails or a GIF, it's very easy for doing that as well. Next, let's roll into this.
Tyler, there was a question in the chat real quick about whether
Yes.
those were active links at that point.
Ooh, great question. So we're saying no. I don't believe so. I believe what it does is it takes it from that page and tosses it over there. So I guess the fear would be that if somebody clicked on it, it would take them to like some crazy website, correct? These will not be, like if you click on these, it doesn't take them to that website. So if you download it, it may show up in like the geotagging or like in the information on the photo. It may show the resource location, but I'm not sure on that. I've done this a lot, and I've never had like a student or parent be like, hey, you got that from, you know, dumpsterfire.com. Like I haven't had anybody notice that, but if they do, I'm really sorry. I take full responsibility. Okay. So just send the parent to me and I'll take care of it.
The other thing that he did right there that's kind of key is he previewed the picture before he did the drag and drop thing. So if you don't click the preview and get it like over there in that little black box on the side, the picture will be much, much smaller when you drag and drop it. So if you want the higher resolution image, you got to make sure that you click it and preview it and then drag the previewed image to the drop, because then you get the higher quality picture.
Zach, 10 points to Gryffindor. That is exactly correct. Boom. Same thing. Hey, that Zach's right on point here. If you do this for images, if you've ever tried to download an image straight from here, you may have noticed that it's like super terrible quality or it's really small. It's because what they're doing here is they're showing you the lowest grade version of whatever photo or GIF, because they're trying to show a bunch of photos, which would take a lot of resources from your bandwidth and your computer. And so he is exactly correct. If you want to use a photo or a GIF, click on it, let it pop up on the side, then drag that into your presentation. So excellent, Zach. Very good. Like 10 points to Gryffindor. I'm going to go full Dumbledore here, and I'm just going to give all the points to the main character. Like, sorry, Draco, I don't need to have reasons to let Gryffindor win. I'm biased. Okay. Excellent.
Hey, Tyler.
Yes.
So we have a couple more questions in the chat.
Oh, I need to be able to see the chat. I'm going to try to fix this so I can see the chat, because I'm being a very poor communicator right now.
It's just something with the active links, and do you have to build your own list of links?
With regards to the photos and the GIFs? I'm not sure on the question with regards to active links. So once you put that image or that, so like usually you download the photo or the video and then you re-upload it. Okay, so it's coming from your computer. Here, what you're doing is you're taking it from Google search or the internet, and then you're putting it onto there. So if they click that photo, it does not take them to that website. It does not redirect them to wherever you took that photo from. And I hope I'm explaining well what you're asking. I don't know if I am, because I still can't see the chat. I would love to see that. I'm going to keep playing with it. Oh, here we go. I think I can get it now. Okay, there's the chat. Excellent. Oh, cool. Y'all did like it. Thanks for saying that. No, you're asking if it builds our own list of links. With regards to the photos and the videos, no, like I just Google search to find that. No, yes. Okay. So Adrian, I think answered what you're asking better. So you can click on these GIFs, and then you can hit Command K or Control K, depending on your device. And that allows you to make that an active link. So I can make that photo go to tarveracademy.com if I wanted to. So now when people click on it, it can go to whatever website I want, if that's what you're asking. So you can make all of those links active. Yes. All the links that are in this presentation, I made all those. If you're asking about these links being active, yes, these are all links to, I'm sorry, I'm very poor at understanding what's going on, but I think I get it now. All these links in here to these two slides, these are all links to resources that I've created. They are all active links. So if you click on any of these, or a student does, even after you copy paste them over into a new presentation, it'll go to my video on YouTube or whatever resource I have. And these are all like videos I've made. You can switch them out if you find something that's better. You can swap out the links. You can delete them. You can add your own. Ideally, you take these as starting points, and then you keep creating and curating better resources than I gave you. Okay. I'm just biased because I'm using all my own stuff, because I know that I don't cuss on anything. So I know it's safe for students. So that's just me. So there you go. Awesome. Great. I'm sorry it took me so long to arrive at the answer of the question that we were talking about. So Next tip. Does anybody out there pin their tabs? Is anybody out there pinning tabs? Oh my goodness. So nice, right? I'm going to show you what this is. So there's probably, I would say at the very least, 2 or 3 websites that you go to multiple times a day. All right. So like your Gmail account, Google Classroom, Tarver Academy, of course. So when, I'm sorry, I don't know why I made that noise. So whenever you're doing that, if you'll notice my tabs at the top, it starts getting pretty cluttered up here throughout the day. And it's like, I'm doing this, using this website or this video or this YouTube channel, and I'm using them for now, but it's not something I go to all the time. So what you can do is you can go and you can do what is called pinning your tabs. So if you look over here to the left, you see how I've got Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Classroom. They are now just the icon, and it's smaller, and they're shoved over to the left. If there's a website you use throughout the day, you need to pin it. So let's say you're using my YouTube channel. I would go up here to the tab. I'm not touching anything. I'm going to right click on that tab. I'm going to go down to the word pin, P-I-N. I'm going to click it. Watch what happens to my tab when I click it. It shrinks it down to just the icon, which, by the way, fun fact, is called the favicon. And then it slides over to the left, boom. And now you're thinking to yourself, Tyler, that's too much of a commitment. If I see it, why do I want to put a ring on it? Okay, calm down, Beyonce. What you can do if you get tired of that tab is right click, unpin, and now you can delete it. Thank you, Zach, for the shout out. I'm glad. I'm sorry that I'm repetitive in my resources. I just really love this resource. And I feel like if you don't know it, it's worth the price of admission. So I love that one. Yeah, I did actually hit that laptop. Or it was the monitor. I'll talk about that resource here in a second. So thank you. All right, so let's roll through. I don't need that fake presentation. Okay, so that's pin tab. Last quick one I want to show you guys. Does anybody out there use Canva? C-A-N-V-A. Does anybody use Canva? It's like a graphic design website. I've got it linked on slide 7. They have free accounts for educators. So I've got that first one's Canva for Education. If you click that, you should, I think it takes like a little bit of a verification process, but once you do, you get access to like the premium account as an educator. Now, if you're wanting to use it for like your personal stuff, they have free accounts and then they have paid accounts. The free account's perfectly fine, so you don't have to pay, but I've got it linked in there. You need to use this. It is awesome. I actually did this for some Google Classroom headers that I made for my Google classes. So in your Google Classroom, whenever you're looking at your classes, do you see up here, it does like those generic like little photos? So the last tip today is you can go into Canva and create Google Classroom headers, not just photos, but you could actually make videos for like moving pictures for this. So like right here, do y'all see this? This is what I like to call the greatest Google Classroom header of all time. So if you guys want, you can just download this. It can say Tarver's class. It's got me and Ariana Grande just chilling with a donut that's like leaking weirdly to the left. It may be the best Google Classroom header ever made. So if you're in Canva, you can go in and you can create these. It's super easy. I don't know if I'm signed in on this because I'm using my burner account. But if you go to the link that I have, you can actually search Google Classroom, and it is going to find templates for you that are the exact dimensions of what you need to put into Google Classroom. So I'm not logged in. Poor Kay. So if I was, we could walk through it quickly, but actually I've already gone over a little bit of time and I want to get into the resources. But it's very easy. You just type it in the search, goes through it, boom. And actually made a couple for Halloween that I sent out to teachers, and I put them in here because I want this to be a disclaimer. So for Halloween, I made like 6 or 7 like fun ones. I was like, you know, this one says, trick or treat yourself to some knowledge. It's a Parks and Rec quote. This other one says, don't ghost your assignments. Okay. I had my old boss, he sent the email, forwarded the email to his teachers, and one of his teachers used it. Here's my disclaimer when you're making your own Google Classroom headers. Be aware of how you crop your Google Classroom headers, because one of the teachers did not expand it to how I had intended, and it cropped it. So when her students started giggling in class because their Google Classroom header said, don't ghost your blank because she cropped it wrong, you need to be careful how you crop your headers so that it doesn't cut off the word assignments and make something inappropriate. All right. That's the moral of the story. Be careful how you crop your headers. Okay. Because students were like screenshotting. It says ghost your blank. Don't do that. All right. All right. So there you go. Zach, you had a question. Would this work for Google Sites? Yes, it will. They have so many, they have lesson plan templates as well. So if you wanted to search lesson plans, you could build out like a graphic that you could print off and use as paper, or you can like overlay with Google Slides, which I'm going to show you guys how to do here in a second. So great question. They have a ton of stuff. And then you can import your own pictures. You can export, you can import like their templates. It's a really, really cool platform. So excellent. Next one. Last thing, this is a new resource, and it's one that I think Zach noticed whenever I went to my YouTube channel. So I actually made a resource if you wanted to use it. It is a video walking students through how to be successful in remote learning. And it talks through, I think in a fun way, of the two most important things, according to Tinto's theory of student retention, is you need to have academic goals and you need to have a social connection. And that's what makes students the most successful long-term, is having one or both of those. And so what I did was I did like a dual narrative storytelling of me like breaking a computer with a bat, but also talking through the process of how to be successful. So if you want it, there's the video. And I've even created a Google Doc that you can give your students and make a copy for in Google Classroom, and they can go in and fill it in with their information. Or I made an interactive PDF if you want to use that as well, that you could either print off or students could write in, and it's got like little graphics, things that they can write and put stuff in throughout the process. So the idea is that it helps students get better at remote learning. And so if you want that resource, there it is. If you don't use it. I'm not your boss. You can do whatever you want. Okay, so let's get in to the meat and potatoes of what we're doing. Okay, and I've gone a little over because I've enjoyed talking about this stuff, and that's my fault for liking what I'm talking about. But I do want to kind of bounce through this, and I'm going to be here if you ever want. I'll give you my email address at the end. So if you want to hit me up, I can give you longer explanations if I'm not able to cover it all in this time period. So the first one. This is an activity, and I know I think I've given you guys my bell ringer stuff. Like, here's some bell ringers you can do. Quote of the day, blah, blah, blah. What you can do, I think the bit.ly was bit.ly/, oh no, I'll just scroll up and see it. Google Time Hacks, okay? Google Time Hacks. Awesome. Okay, so whenever, here we go. Whenever you're doing, I think I gave you the resources for quote of the day and all that. But actually, since then, I have made it into its own notebook. And so if you don't ever use quote of the day, if you don't ever use this resource, that's fine. But you can still, as we go through this, think of activities you could do for your students or bell ringers where you can make a copy of what I just did. And then you're just swapping out the videos for videos that you want, or you're putting in graphics that you made in Canva, or just typing in stuff. You're going to be able to use this notebook for multiple different things, not just what I made it for. And that's key to anytime you're using a resource that you find or get that is like a Google slide presentation or Google Doc. Always be thinking of how you can duplicate something that's already been done and then adjust it to fit what you need. Okay, so keep that mindset as we go through this. So I've got this notebook available as a full semester, but we're going to go through it as like just a weekly one. So you can actually submit it weekly if you want to do grades that way. Do you guys, anybody in there do bell ringers for their students? Does anybody do bell ringers? A couple of you guys? So think of it like a digital bell ringer. So I'm going to click on week 1, and then I'm going to click this. It's going to ask you to make a copy if you click any of these. Once you do that, that is now your copy. It is now just yours. I do not have access to it. I can't see any students' work. I can't see anything that you've done, okay? So when I made this resource, I tried to make it as easy as possible for you to give this to your students. So this video right here is actually a video of me I think I took like 10 minutes and I did like a full walkthrough for students on what is expected of them to do this assignment. So I walk them through, here's how you click the video, here's how you do this, here's how you do this. I love, whenever I did this, my thought was, I'm taking the explanation off of the teacher's hands. And if you do it every week, if the student's like, I don't know what to do, say, watch the video, watch the video. Don't hold their hand as you go through this virtual learning environment. Make them go through the process of watching and doing it, because if not, you're going to be answering the same question 100 times a week. Okay, so send them through that process. This is also something to keep in mind, that if you make, like, say you adapt this and you create your own weekly bell ringers out of it, you can record your screen and record instructions for what your expectations are, and then attach that video in, and then just every week it's attached with the assignment. So keep that in mind as you go through the process of creating assignments for students. So you go through, you remember, you're making a copy of this for every student, so they have their own notebook that they're working in throughout the week. I have the important link stuff, just like I told you I put in every presentation. It's got weeks labeled based on which week you choose. And then the idea is, it's like, picture it as like, you remember those like spirally, like it had all like the binding down the side, and we'd hand them to students and they'd work through the packets together. Y'all remember that? We used to do that in my classes sometimes. I just like staple these big packets and we'd work through them. That's what you're doing for these students digitally, okay? So whenever they're going through, I've got the instructions on the left side of the page. And then what they're doing is they're watching a video of me or a video of something else, if you swap out the video, giving a quote of the day. And then their expectation is they're going to go in and they're going to put the date. They're going to say it's November, 22nd, 2020. And then they're going to take notes, be happy, don't cheat. That's not how you spell cheat. Cheat, watch movies. I don't know what the notes are from this one, but they're watching and they're taking notes. Then it has them retype the quote, and then they give their thoughts. This one I think is the most important. I love giving stuff that allows students the chance to give a personal application to whatever is being presented, because it's a lot harder to Google the answers to a test when you have to do personal application. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing that. Now, here's a part of this resource that I love, okay? Now, think through, how could you put something like this in other assignments that you give students? Can you show me on your hands what grade level you teach? Anybody? Show me your hands, like seventh grade, fifth grade, that's a weird way to do it. Ninth grade, okay? Show me what grades, okay? So think through, like, what connection to their mind and their brain, even for younger students, whenever they're rating things like this. So keep that in mind as we do this next part of the activity and how you can apply it to other assignments that you're doing, okay? Okay, great. I'm gonna answer that question, P. Barnhart, 1 second. So that's no, 1 second, where are you gonna go? Okay, I mean, you can get out, but don't leave. Okay, I'm gonna get, oh, that's a good question. I don't wanna forget it, so don't let me forget it is what I meant. So my idea is, what you can do is, from whatever the student learns or whatever they're watching, I want them to rate that on this scale right here. So the top one says, how much do you agree or disagree with Tyler's interpretation of the quote? And then they can choose one of these two thumbs up or thumbs down emojis and drop it on the line based on how much they like. So it's allowing them to process based on their own opinion of something, how much they liked it or didn't like it. And they can move it along the scale, and they can choose the thumbs down if they want. Oh, I didn't like it. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Now that's the top one. The bottom line is, what is your emotion with regards to this quote? So then they can choose from this list of 5 emojis, and they can be like, oh man, that was a fire one. They can put it way up there if they want and move it on the number scale. Now, I want to incorporate the question, P. Barnhart. That's a great question. How do you keep students from accidentally deleting the teacher-made text boxes? Okay, so like a student comes in here, bam, and they delete it. Bam, they delete it. Oh no, what happened? One, you're gonna have to start telling those students, like, you're gonna have to start putting those boxes back in there if you mess it up, okay? Now, I know that's easy to say, but it's harder for students to actually do it. But I wanna notice this. Look what you can't do. You can't delete where it says my thoughts. You can't delete the number line. You can't delete this stuff. So I want to show you, I'm going to show you a way to do that to where they can't delete certain aspects of your presentation. Y'all ready? Go up to View and then go to Master. This essentially, it's like where we were able to type in those boxes, that's the front of the stage. What we just did is we stepped behind the stage and we're changing the background, okay? So now I can come in here. Let's say you see this resource and you're like, you know what? I don't want to do quote of the day. I want to do, science fact of the day, okay? You can go in and change the size of that and move that around. Now it'll say at the top, science fact of the day, and it's not going to change. They're not gonna be able to change that part of your presentation. So look, do you see this is all the stuff that I'm able to change and not change from the presentation? Like I could change this number line, or I could leave it there. I could add more number lines. The master section of your Google slide presentation is allowing you to fix it to where it's a lot harder for students to go in and mess it up, essentially. So great.
Can that master
Yes.
section be interactive? Like, can you put links in that master section and have them be live? Or is it only just
Ooh.
like essentially a background that they can't mess with?
That is a great question, Zach, and we are going to test it out right now. So let's say I want to make this quote of the day. I want to make it go to, Tarver Academy. I always use mine because, again, I don't cuss, so that's safe. All right, so I made it a link, and now I'm just going to, all I have to do is click over here, and it'll click out of it. And yes. Oh, no. I said yes before I clicked it. Nope, I can't click that. So great question. So what Zach just asked is, can you make links on the master side so students can't go in and change or delete or get rid of links that you put in there? You cannot put a link in the master that is clickable for students on the outside. So that's going to be one of the negatives for doing this, is that they could go in and delete that link. Okay. So excellent. I wonder if I can go back. Okay, I'm going to change that. All right, awesome. So that master side is a great way to adjust these things. Now, I saw someone else put some advice in there, and I want to talk about it because it is really good advice. Adrian, am I saying that right, Adrian? I hope I am. If not, you can just cuss at me in an email, and that's my fault. You said, make a PowerPoint slide, save it as PNG, and then insert it as a Google slide background. Okay, so what I did was I went in and I'm creating it in the master, and then I'm submitting it out. It's essentially the same thing, but I'm able to change it within Google Slides. What Adrian brought up is also a super good tip to do. If you say you got it already in a PowerPoint or a picture or whatever you have it in, a presentation, and you know you're not going to need to change it, you can either do a screenshot or download it as a JPEG, and then you can upload it as a background. I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So let's say I want to create a new slide. I would go in, and let's say I want to, I would go up here to background, and you can take that screenshot. It has to be either a PNG file or a JPEG. You cannot upload a PDF to this. So that's something to keep in mind, guys. You cannot upload a PDF as background in Google Slides. Go in to choose image. I could actually just do a Google image search, and I could search for graph paper. And then I can insert this graph paper, and then I could put that into as the background. And now I have graph paper as my background. So you could do that for the full worksheet and then put your text boxes over the top of it. So that is an awesome way to do it, so that students can't delete or change a lot of the stuff in the background. So I wish they would. I bet they will eventually. I wish they would come up with a way to stick those text boxes so that they can't be deleted out of there, because I know that's super annoying. So yeah. Okay, Zach, you asked the question. Yeah, PDFs, it stinks too, because I actually made a TikTok that was like, turn a PDF into a Google slide, blah, 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 and you can't make a PDF. And everybody's like, you can't do this with a PDF. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I meant to say JPEG. Yes, you can use the snip feature. So if you have, I think it's called Snipping Tool on like Windows products. I'm not sure what it is on, it's probably Snip, is what you just said. On a Mac, it's super easy. I just do Command-Shift-3, and it screenshots, and I can choose what I screenshot. Super easy to make that into like a PNG file. So it's great for uploading. Great points, man. This is a good team. We should all start a school together. This is really fun stuff. Okay, so there you go. That's the gist of this resource. If you want to use it, great. If not, go in and change it. Let's say that you want to do something similar with the same format, but you want to change where it says quote. You can go into the master, change that. Instead of quote, it could say, you know, example problem or whatever. And then you could go up here, delete the video, hit insert, and add a different YouTube video. You could search for, you know, I don't know, photosynthesis. I don't know why I thought of photosynthesis. I don't even know if I had to spell photosynthesis. So I could toss that in there. And then now that video is my new video for this. So like I said, use these templates instead of starting from scratch and building this from nothing, because spoiler alert, it took me a long time to make this, and it would take you a long time to make something like this. Use this template and then adjust it to be what you want and can help your students the most. So great questions. Excellent.
Tyler,
Okay.
it's easier for me to ask this without typing this one out. You use lots of YouTube videos, which is an awesome resource, and I love it, and I use it all of the time. But if we had downloaded videos, like have our own video files that we downloaded from something else, we could do that in a slide presentation really easily as well, right? Instead of having to use YouTube.
Yes. Okay. So, and there may be a better way. I'm going to tell you how I would do it based on the knowledge I have currently, unless someone knows a better way. So one of the negatives I always thought with Google Slides was, you're like with PowerPoint and Keynote, you can actually download a video and then upload it directly into the presentation. Now, the problem with Google Slides is Google Slides are on the internet. So it's like it's connected to the web. What I would do if it's not a YouTube video, or say YouTube's blocked at your school, take the video, upload it as a Google Drive file. So you upload it into Google Drive, and then you can come over here to insert video, and you can pull it straight from your Google Drive. So here's a video. I have no idea what it is, but I could toss that video in, boom. Now it's playing out of my Google Drive as opposed to pulling it from YouTube. So I know there are some people that are like, hey, Tyler, we don't have YouTube at our school, but we want to use your quote of the day. And so what I do is I share with them a Google Drive file of those videos so that they can just upload them from there. So great question, Zach. Did that answer it? Did that answer the question?
And real quick, Zach, you need to make sure that the link is shareable to anybody that has it, because otherwise they're going to have to request access when they click on it.
That is very good. Have you ever noticed, Candace, because I've never used this, have you ever noticed that when you do upload that link, will Google prompt you and say, do you want to make the shareable, or do you just have to know and go in and share it? It doesn't.
It doesn't prompt you. So I only found out in the spring the hard way, because students were saying we had to request access. It's not giving us. So then we discovered once we made the shareable link. So it does not prompt you. You have to remember to do that.
Okay.
A lot of times
Thank you.
when you're editing it, like Tyler is now, it looks perfect because you can see the video. But then when your students or somebody gets in there, it's just a black screen that says like not public or no access, or I can't remember what it says, but they don't even see like the thumbnail. So they just right away know this isn't working. And then when you change it, like Candace is saying, then it looks like you see it.
That's a good point. What I would do, if you have, like, say you go pull like 30 videos that you want to use over the next month for your bell ringers, and you upload them all into Google Drive, go to the folder that those videos are in, change the permissions of that folder, and that'll change all of the videos inside of it. So it's a quick way to share it, so you don't have to go share it every single day. Put them in one folder, change the share access of that one folder. So great job. Thank you, guys. My question earlier was because, watch this. Like, say I needed somebody to be a part of this. I could click on any part of this. I can right click and add insert comment. And let's say I want to add my friend Leanne, who hates it when I tag her on this stuff, but I'm going to do it anyways because she needs to see it, you know? And so I'll go in and I hit assign to Leanne. Watch what it does. It prompts me and says, hey, Leanne does not have access to this. Do you want to give her access? And if so, what level of access? And so, boom, I can add access for her. That's what I was hoping it would do when Candace made the comment about having access, but it doesn't, unfortunately. So that's just another tip that I thought of while we're doing it. So there you go. And it would be nice if they would tell you. So I've done that before. I actually did that 3 weeks ago for my students. I was like, I put it in Google Class. I was even worse. I put it in Google Classroom, and I didn't say, like, I attached the link, but I didn't give them editing access. And I told them all to participate in the presentation. And I had like 3 students like, oh, I can't have access, which is also a really low key, good way to figure out which students are actually doing the assignment at what time. You know what I mean? So it's like, they'll contact you. I'm like, oh, Ricardo, touche. You're the first kid to look at this 3 days after I sign it. Okay, sorry. There you go. All right, so there's one resource and a walkthrough. A lot of good tips shared by the whole group. Thank you guys. Debbie asked a question. Let me look at it. It says, do you have issues with students not being able to stream all these videos? What would you suggest in areas where the internet isn't great? Oh, that's a good question. So right off the bat, what I recommend is lower the bandwidth of the videos. So you can lower it down. I think it goes all the way down to like 120. So if I'm in a rural area, or say I'm running my computer off a hotspot, my parents' phone, I can crank down the bandwidth on the video. And honestly, almost everybody's YouTube settings are set on like, give me the best video you can for the bandwidth I have. And so it'll adjust based on it. Now, if they don't have access to any internet, what you're gonna need to do if you wanna show videos is have them, like, you're gonna need to get the videos, upload them into Google Drive, share it with the student, and then show the student how to download the videos offline. And so they'll have to go to somewhere with the internet, download the videos offline, and then do that. Honestly, at that point, if a student doesn't have it, it's almost like you got to have like a backup for them to get access to this type of resource if they don't have internet at home. Man, why don't we just have free Wi-Fi for everybody in the United States? Like, that just would make sense, right? Can we do that? Jennifer, can you go ahead and send an email and get that done for the whole country? Awesome. Okay, Jennifer's going to take care of it for us. Awesome. I knew it. I could see it in your eyes. Okay. Come on, Elon Musk, make it happen. Google's trying. They're doing that Google Fiber stuff. How do you lower the bandwidth? Great question. I'll show you. So let's go over here. Because like I said, I could show you all these resources, but I'd rather do stuff that you guys care about. So ask questions and we'll answer them. That's what I'm here for. This is not my video. This is an ad. So don't think that I like made a video, a bunch of like ladies, and that's weird. Okay, skip ad. That's what we want. Okay, so if I'm about to watch this video, and let's say I need to lower the resolution, okay? So I would go over here to this little gear, and I would click on this setting, and I can go to quality. This is where I can choose the resolution of the video. So I can crank it all. Oh, it's 144. Boom. So I've cranked it down. See, it's a little blurry, but for most videos, it's not like they're putting like fine print on the screen. And so I can go there and I can lower that down. Now, most of the time it's set on auto, so it's going to adjust your quality based on your bandwidth. So there you go, the video thumb drive, and then you give it to them. Yep, Tori just gave a really good piece of advice. If you have students in an area, you can download the videos onto a flash drive, give it to them, and then they can go and just watch it off the flash drive. The thing you need to be careful about when you do that is you're going to need to find a very clear way to label the video in correlation with the assignments they're working on. So if you're doing like bell ringer, Monday, bell ringer, week 2, you need to change the title of that video to Monday, bell ringer, week 2. Okay, figure out a good way to be organized, because if you just dump those videos in, then you just tell kids, refer to your thumbnail, and you've got 30 videos, that 4th grader or that 10th grader is going to have trouble finding it, what they need. We don't have any, somebody said that with their internet, even if it's bad, they don't have many problems with YouTube. Okay, so Christy, I would agree. YouTube is, I mean, I say my opinion, but it's also like proven. YouTube is the best on the internet at video. They figured it to where they can get the most amount of people to be able to watch it in the widest variety of areas. So I agree with Christy. I think if there's any internet access and a video is going to play, YouTube is your best bet, even over a Google Drive video or like some other platform. So excellent choice. Smaller town. Oh, I agree. Trisha, we need all the internet for all the people. So do y'all want to spend the next like 13 minutes just watching the video? We can't, guys. We got too much to learn. We got too much to learn. I guess you're gonna have to go click on it to get me that view. You know, I need that 0.0000 from your view. So you look at it and you're going to hit refresh. I thank you, Aaron, for saying you watched it. I appreciate it. I actually don't hit the computer at the beginning, so I can hit play. I actually did that to bypass it. But I do tell you what point in the video I do hit the computer here in a second. Oh, that's fun. Okay, there you go. The video is going for like Bill Nye, but way lower production value. So there you go. All right. So here we go. So that's one resource. Again, if you don't want to use what I have in it, use the template, change it in the master or whatever it is you want to make it something that you can use. And you can use it weekly, or now that we're ending this first semester, it wouldn't be a bad idea to look at full semester. Now, I put other kind of instructions on how to assign that, but I don't want to use up a ton of our extra time on that. What I would recommend, guys, and I've got this blue thing as a video, so you can go in and watch a tutorial. I lied, that's not a video, but text me or I'll give you the video of how to go and sit in the classroom, make a copy for each student, and then out their own notes. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys knew this. Where you assign something to your student and you make a copy for each student, you can go in and see their progress on that assignment at any time. So when you're in the classroom, send it, you can go to this little folder that takes you to the drive folder for that class. So you could go in. I have no idea which one of these has something in it. Does this have something in it? It creates folders for every assignment. I don't know where. These are all fake classes, so don't think that my students aren't doing their work. They're not, but they're not in this class. So let's see. Whenever you find, there it is. So when you make the copy for each student, you could go in and see their progress. So I could go in and look at Draco and see what he's done so far. Because remember, this is a live doc. So if he's written anything in here, I could see that. So now I can go in, I can highlight this, I can comment, I can tag Draco and say, yo, bro, do your work. Like, actually, if this is the 7th book, he's the only kid that's actually at school. The other 3 are running around the world looking for Horcruxes. So do your work, Draco. Come on, man. So hit assign, and it's a good way to talk to your students in the doc itself. All right, let's see. Here we go. Good questions. Assignment from the assignment. Okay, Zach said this works even if the students have removed the assignment from the assignment in Google Classroom. That's cool. I didn't know that. So that's really good advice. That's awesome that you still have access because it's shared with you, right? So you should have access to it.
Yeah, I had a teacher call me and wanted to know, like, well, can I find this assignment because the kid has removed it? I can't even see what they have done. And so I used the feature that you just showed. I'm like, yeah, go to your classroom folder, find the class, find the assignment, and see if it's still in there. And it was still in there, even though the kid had like deleted it from his list of assignments connected to the assignment in Google Classroom. So it's all there. You just got to know where to look.
You got to know that little button, the little folder button. Google Classroom, they're so beautiful. Google Classroom, it is like this amazing hub that attaches to everything else that you have for your class. Like you can import Google Forms, it goes out to folders. I love Google Classroom personally. I don't get like commission for bragging about it, but like I just do like it a lot. Fred said, so if you have a multi-grade classroom, can you assign something to one group but not to another? Yes, you can. And I will show you how to do that. So let's say I want to go into history and magic. I think I have students in this class. Okay, cool. Got fake students in here. All right. So let's say, so Fred said, can you assign that to specific students? So I'm just going to go to create and I'm going to reuse a post. We'll do this one. Okay. So now I've got an example assignment, but let's say I only want to assign this to a select group of students. Whenever you're going to assign it over here to the right, instead of having all students, select this, and then you can choose who it goes to. So let's say I want to send it to Hermione and Ron only. I can assign it. Boom. Now, this is really good for students that have modifications because I could take that like original assignment. I could go in and take off the student, like the 3 students that have modifications, assign it. Now, I need to assign something to those 3 students. So watch this. You go to create, reuse, and then find the assignment that you just posted, okay? Which I think was this one. I'm gonna hit reuse. It's gonna take all that stuff. Now I can go in and I can change, like say their modification was that they get an extra week. So now I can go in and add an extra week to their due date. And I could say, only write one sentence, whatever my modifications are. And then I can choose those other students and assign it to them as a different group. So great question. And that's exactly how you would do it. Awesome. Let me see if there's any other questions. Somebody said, is there a way to archive an assignment so that I can see it and save it for documentation, but students can't? Ooh, great question. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. If you close an assignment, does it freeze that doc so students can't go in and change it, or can students still go in and change it? They can? Students can go in and change it after you say, hey, this is.
Yeah, so I had a kid last year, obviously with the whole coronavirus thing, we got shut down, and we had some kids not pass that last year's assignment. So we were able to pull those assignments, and still we just had to go make sure we added them into the old class. So after we archived it, we were able to put those kids back in and still be able to use that.
Okay, so you just unarchived the class and
Right.
then, okay, that's good. Okay, excellent. I hope that answered the question well. Thank you, Cody. I've just never had to do it, so I wasn't positive. And there's every now and then Google has weird restrictions on stuff. So I want to make sure. Just commenting and tagging the comment. Okay, Debbie asked a really good question. Debbie said, the tag in the comment, you know how I put the @ symbol and then I chose Draco's name and then I tagged him? What's the difference between that and just commenting? When you do that, it actually notifies the student or whoever you tagged that they were tagged in it. So there have been times I've been put on a group project and we'll work in a doc and we'll all be working in it, and then I leave the doc and then a week later someone goes in and makes a change or they add a comment. I have no idea that they've made a comment, but if they tag me in it or assign it to me or both, then I get an email that says so-and-so tagged or assigned something to you. I can actually reply to that comment directly in the email. So I don't even have to go to the doc, or I could click on the doc directly from that email. So it's a really organized way to be able to make sure people see what you're putting in to docs or slideshows or presentations. Okay, we got a question from JM Roloff. I'm home, Roloff. Mr. Roloff. I'm sorry, I don't know where the combination of letter breaks are. So I'm gonna say Jim Roloff, all in one. Said, when you create a post and want to have multiple assignments for the kids, how can you set it up so that you can click on the assignment to grade it? I seem to only be able to access the first assignment added to the post. I'm trying to limit the number of posts I have daily. Okay, so let's see. So let me assign it. So I just did that. So let's see what it looks like. So I assigned those two, and then I'm going to go to review. I should have my two most recent ones. Okay, well, no, I've got some under no due date and some under. So whenever you do that, whenever I click on it, I should only see those students that are assigned to that assignment. So this one, remember I had 4 students, but I only assigned it to 2. I don't see those other 2. Whenever you post it, so I don't know if you guys knew this, whenever I post that assignment to those 2 students and that other assignment here, the other ones don't even know that the other assignment was given. So this assignment went to Ron and Hermione. Draco and Ron have no idea that this assignment was made. It's only for them in their feed. And so if you're doing multiple groups, they don't all see that assignment from the other groups. They only see their assignments. So unless something's changed. Is that with everybody else's experience as well? I want to make sure that that's okay, good. That's what I've noticed from mine. So that would limit your post. It looks like a lot to you, but it's only showing up on theirs when it actually applies to them. So great question.
Tyler,
Yes.
this is Jean. I'm the one that asked the question. Can you go
hey.
back? Hey, can you go back to the assignments page?
Yep. That one right there.
Yes. So you have 2.8 pizza. Say I put 2 documents under that, not
Okay.
the assignment, but when I put the posting in, I post the warm up and then I post the actual assignment, and students need to work in both.
Mhm.
It seems to me that whichever one I put in that posting first is the only one that I can click on the assignment and get to it to grade. The other one, I can't track the grades or what the students have done.
So you can't see that second assignment at all that they're
Correct.
doing. Okay,
Unless
so
I'm missing another way to find it.
So here's what I think is happening, if it's okay. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I assume is happening. So let me sign in as Hermione because, I mean, she's great. She's actually the hero of the series. A lot of people don't know that. So whenever you go in here, and let's say I have classwork and I'm going to complete Wednesday's bell ringer. Okay, so I'm a student and I'm going to view the assignment. So here's what I think they're doing. Okay, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is what's happening. Whenever they're going in and they're adding, you know, here they're doing the 2 assignments, they are not adding that second one to submit. So they need to make sure, because right now I've got one thing added. I need to add this as well. Like, they need to add multiple things, and then you should be able to see both of them. I think what your students are doing is they are not attaching the second or third documents to that. They're just submitting one of them and being like, okay, done, I'm done, and turning it in. That's what I think's happening.
Okay.
So also to do, like, if you need that, I'm pretty sure, because if you're having to explain that to every student, you're gonna have to re-explain yourself like 30 times, and
Yes,
which is not fun. So what you
Right.
should tell them is say, hey, the slide in here under Google Classroom, I think I'm almost positive I have one. Okay, there it is, right there near the bottom. Submit multiple files. Tell them to watch that video and submit multiple files. So instead of you like walking them through the door the correct way, send them out and go, watch the video, because that helps make them more self-sufficient so you don't become their personal assistant, their personal
Okay.
Google trainer. So that's what I would do.
Yeah,
Great
because I had a
question.
parent, comment that I was putting too much in the classroom, but I'm like, I wish I could just put it in one post and say, here, do all 4 things. There's one post for the day and we're good. So, okay, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. That was a great question.
If
So,
you create copies of those documents for your kids too, it'll attach those multiple documents. So I don't know if you have an actual document that you're giving them, like Tyler showing you how they would have to go create their own document and then attach it to your post. But if you do that, make a copy for each student, you have to do it on every single file that you add to that assignment. But
Right.
then those files will all be there when you go in to grade it. It's just when you go into grade, it's usually over, my camera's backwards. It's usually in the upper corner when you go into like that list of like, here's all of my students, and I'm just scrolling through like student 1, student 2, student 3. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, there will be multiple files, and you can click through them there to see all of the different assignments.
Okay.
so
Thank you.
yeah, that's excellent. And I think you explained it really well, Zach, but just to give you guys a visual, if you wanted, you would go in, and when you attach them, just make sure that everything you attach, make a copy for each student, make a copy for each student, make sure all those are there and all that's turned on. And then it should create all those and they'll be attached. So students would have to go out of their way to delete those second assignments. So, which some do, they just like the scenic route of doing the assignments. Excellent questions. Okay. Cool. All right. The next, if you guys got any questions, toss them in. I'm going to glance at it. Okay, great. So whenever you go in, okay. Now I put my favorite thing at the beginning, second favorite here. Actually, this may be my favorite, I'm sorry. And then the last one is not my least favorite, but it's whatever. I've got a video on how to do it. So if you need it, I can help you out. But here's the next thing I want to talk about. Does anybody ever make anything with Google Forms? Has anybody ever made a test or an assignment? Oh my goodness. How fantastic is Google Forms when it comes to auto grading? Like, I love it. Okay. If you are not using Google Forms and have it to where it auto grades for you, you're wasting a lot of time for yourself when you could be doing something else. Okay. Now, it can auto grade for multiple choice. It can auto grade for check boxes, and it can auto grade for like short answers. So you could like say the answer was Washington. You could go in and say Washington, GW, George Washington. You could make all those correct and acceptable answers and add in different variations of that answer. So I'm sorry I went with the president. I know like the state is great as well, and I should have gone with that. I'm sorry for talking about George Washington. Okay, I should have talked about the state. I got y'all. So let's see. No, that's not a state. Is that a state? Oh my gosh, why is my brain like this? I'm just gonna stop talking. Okay, so what we're talking about is Google Forms. I do know about Google Forms. So what I wanna show you, and I tried to show in this graphic, but it ended up looking super weird. When you're creating a Google form, either as a quiz, as a review, or as like how you're presenting the material to the students, whenever you're doing that, keep in mind that it doesn't all have to be just like one really long page, which is how kind of like everybody creates a Google form the first time. It's just like this everlasting gobstopper, and it like just keeps going, and then you hit submit. Okay. What you can do is you can add what are called sections. Okay. I call them pages whenever I'm actually like viewing them. Pages, sections means the same thing. And so if you've ever filled a Google form that you wrote in and you hit next and it goes to another page, you fill that out, next, go to another page. That's what I want to encourage you to start trying to play around with, because here is what the cool thing is. If you do that, you can have your tests or quizzes or reviews or your lessons start adapting based on how the student is doing in real time. So they take an intro page. Oh, what's your name? What's your favorite, pizza place? Blah, blah, blah. They hit next. First lesson, you have a video explaining the topic, and then you ask a question based on either the video or the topic. If they answer it correctly, they go to the next topic. If they answer it wrong, you can have it to where it goes to a new page that they only go to if they get it wrong. And it's like, hey, so I noticed that you didn't pay attention to the whole video. How about you watch this video as well and take notes? And then it redirects them back with everyone else. So that's the idea. It's almost like you can make multiple pages, and then they get remediation based on their own needs. Okay. So I actually have a template of this you can start with, and then you can adapt based on how you want your class to roll. Okay. So if you click this link right here on slide 12, make a copy. Remember, once you make a copy, you have access. I do not. Okay. I have no access to it. And if you want, you need to hit restore because it's saving to my drive, and I've got it where it's got file upload. So you just hit restore. So it'll restore those files for you. Okay. The first thing that like 10% of the people that get this resource want to know is, how do I delete Tarver Academy at the top? First off, that hurts. Second off, let me show you how. Okay. So go up here to this little, it's like the little Bob Ross paintbrush thing. Click on that, and then you can just delete the uploaded image, and that's it. So it takes that off. You can choose your own image. I recommend going into Canva and making an image for your class and then uploading it every time. Not a bad idea. Or you can just make it whatever color you want. I can change the color coding of this, however you want to do it. Okay, so what I've done with this is I essentially tried to make a template for you to create a class out of it. So 1.1, you could change that to 1.7, slope. And then you go in, you can insert instructions, complete this, pretty simple instructions, standards, objectives, all that. Email address, I always recommend under settings, make sure that you have collect email address and then restrict to users in your organization. Guys, if you have ever sent a Google form out to students and 95% of the class clicked in it with no problem, and 5% of the class emailed you and they were like, it says I don't have access, it's because they are not logged into their school account. Reply with, you're not logged into your school account. And that's what it is. Google doesn't pick and choose students, randomly choosing students who pay the least attention in every class to not give access. Okay. There you go. Tell them that. Hit
Hey,
save.
Tyler.
Yes, Cody.
I had a quick little thing on there too. So I did not know about that assigning, making sure you get the email addresses. I put out a unit test. I had 60 kids take the test. And I had to give them all A's, which they were happy, but I had no idea who did one because it just said response 1, response 2. So yeah, that is very important unless you want to have some parents upset at you.
Bingo. Cody, you are not the only one. That happens to all of us. Send out stuff and you don't ask for names, you don't grab email. Like I think I have like a set. Oh, I didn't even have, give me your name in here. I should add that in here. Wow. My template doesn't even have name. You should probably put name on there just in case. Like say something goes wrong in the email, doesn't hurt to have a question that says your name. Actually what I would do, guys, can I show you what I would do for my class? I mean, sure. I mean, I'm presenting. I guess I can do whatever I want. So I'm going to show you what I would do if this is my class, I would say name. And instead of letting them fill in their name with, hey, my name's Johnny, Guardian of the Galaxy Smith, and they put their nicknames or their usernames or their Instagram handles, what I would do is I would go into I wonder if I have a spreadsheet. I bet I do. Greatest. Yep, I do. Awesome. Okay. I would go into my spreadsheet that had a list of all of my student names. Watch this. Google products want to work together. You can click on the top student name and across all your classes. Click on the top student name, hold the shift button, S-H-I-F-T. I have to spell it because I know I slur my words. Go down to the bottom name, click that, and that's going to allow me to select everybody in between. So I select the top one, hold shift, select the bottom one. It selects all those names in that column or within the scope, the range of what I chose. I'm going to hit copy. Then I'm going over to my Google form and I'm going to make this a drop down. And then I'm going to paste. What it does is it makes individual options for every single thing within that Google Sheet. Now, you're thinking to yourself, well, Tyler, they could just go in and select a random student's name and then bomb the test to mess with them. That's why we have automatically collect email address turned on. So if you see something weird, or if you have two students with the same name submitted in there, you can just look at the email address and see who actually submitted it, okay? So I would do that. And then from your template, as you build out a template you like, you don't have to go grab those names every time. They're already in here. And every time you're just duplicating that template that you like, okay? So keep that in mind. Remember, don't start from scratch every time. Every time you make a lesson, duplicate the old lesson and then just adapt it to the new stuff, okay? So I would do that. I don't need an answer key on it. They're going to select their name. You could have class period in here. You could have, whatever time of day. I don't care. You can pick whatever you want as far as the information you gather at the beginning. This is your intro page. For me, it looks like this. Pick their name, everything blah, 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 and then how much you know about this topic. I like that question because it gives me a chance to glance at how they feel about this topic right now. They hit next, and they start taking the test, okay? Now, remember, I gave you a template. You need to change this to make it what you want for your classes. Teaching one, I would title that with like teaching one, and you could call it, intro, rise over run. Now, I put a video in here as like a filler, and I actually put my Google Forms tutorial video in there, so there you go. But I want to take that video out, so I'm just going to click this right here, and I'm going to hit change, and I'm going to find rise over run. I wonder if I have one. I could search directly in YouTube. Boom, I got it. Hit select. Wow, Tyler, that's a long time ago. Oh, he didn't know anything. That guy. I'm sorry. 25-year-old Tyler was an idiot. Okay, here we go. So I'm not saying I'm better now, but at least I got a decade of experience to know that I'm an idiot. So whenever I go in there, rise over run, I change the video out. I've got it set up to where it's asking a question for a grade. So you would need to go in, insert your question. So it'd be like, what is rise? And then I've got wrong answers, and then I got correct answer. You see that little check mark right there? That indicates the correct answer, okay? A rise is, the Y value, probably. That sounds right. X value. Here could be, a baseball. I don't know. Hey, fun fact, guys. If you're doing a Google form and you have multiple choice questions, don't put 3 questions. Don't put 4 questions. Put 20, let's say 20 questions, 20 possible answers. Whenever I do math tests on this, I go in and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to let them guess out of this. I'm going to lower the guessing percentage. I'm going to put pizza. I don't know. I'm not giving very good. Coordinate. Let's do math terms. That's more obvious. Coordinate. Plotting. Value. I'm just adding in random math terms, that they could not guess their way through it. And then just so the correct answer is not always the third one, you can click and drag it. Just click those 6 dots. Looks like Krillin's forehead from Dragon Ball Z. You can click that and drag it around. And thank you. I saw one person who's heard of Dragon Ball Z. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cody. I appreciate you, man. Game, respect, game. So you can drag that around and adjust it. Now, Here's where we make it go to a different section based on the answer. I have these different sections built in, okay? Teaching 1, reinforcement. So this is teaching 1. This is if they get it wrong. If they get it right, they'll skip it and go to review quiz. Right here, these 3 dots, looks like an ant with the legs ripped off. You turn on go to section based on answer. That allows you to dictate where they go based on their answer. The next section is teaching reinforcement 1. All these wrong answers are going to go to the next section, which is the reinforcement. The only answer that I want to skip the reinforcement and go to the next part is the correct answer, which is here. And I want it to skip to section 4. You would choose how many levels of this you want. You could add in new sections. You can build this out to whatever you want. What I recommend, build a template that you like. That way you can remain consistent for your students, and they know what to expect based on what you're building. So build out a template. If I was teaching high school math, usually there was about 5 different key topics for each chapter, and then I had a homework section. Okay, that's how I did it. I worked it out of the book. I would have a page for each of those topics, remediation for each of those topics, and then I would have a homework section of this form. And I would build that out. That seems like a lot of work, but honestly, I'm just copy pasting from stuff I'm already using, or I'm searching the internet and putting it in there. And each section has its own video tailored to that topic. So if students already know the topic, they can skip the video and start answering the question. If they get it wrong, they get remediation. So once you build that template you like, all you're going to do on tomorrow's lesson, right click, make a copy, change out the information. Okay. Keep that template and keep modifying it as you go. And honestly, this seems like a lot of work right now, guys, but next year, you've already got all your stuff created. Here, you don't have to worry about the school re-upping a purchase to some curriculum provider or finding resources or printing stuff off. You've got the Google Forms you can use year after year. So that's what I would recommend, and I hope that helps. I've talked a little long. I would love to answer questions. I'm going to go in. I haven't looked at the chat in a second, so I'm going to go answer questions there. But if you have any questions on this, please let me know, and I will answer it. I'm scrolling back because it looks like there's a lot of good stuff that's been said since I looked at it. Oh, y'all can see my chat? Y'all can see that? Oh, good. Okay, great. I thought somebody said it was in the way. I'm sorry. Let's see. Remove the chat from your screen. Yes. Let's see. Next. Can y'all see y'all's faces on there, or can you only see my tab? Can you see my tab only? Cool. Okay. Let's see. Link from the form template. Great. When you do that, make a copy, edit it, make it yours. Name is the first question of every quiz. Name is a great one, and I would make it worth a point. Why not? That's a free point. Get their confidence up. Let them roll with it, you know, and roll from there. Somebody, exactly how to do what you're doing now easily, and here you go. Oh, thanks, man. Yes, so Zach put in, there is an add-on called, it used to be called Choice Eliminator. It may be called Response Eliminator now. Actually, I think it was called Choice Eliminator 2. And when you do that, when someone selects a name, it goes away from the drop-down list. Now, here's the only negative with that. If I go in and I want to be a little idiot and I want to select Hermione's name, it takes her name off. So honestly, I leave the drop-downs on, and then I just pay attention if I see double names. So there's a way to keep students from opening other tabs while in the quiz. Yes, there is a way to do that. I've never done it, but I know there is a way. I think it's an add-on or it's a district feature. It's not an add.
It's a feature in quiz. So when you turn a form into quiz, there's a box that you check that just says keep kids on tab while quiz is running. So once they start the quiz, they cannot leave it until they hit submit. If you check that box.
Well, let's see what that looks like. Is that okay? I have not seen that option. Let's do classwork. I'm going to create assignment, and I'm going to grab that quiz we just made. Google knows recent because they know we're teachers and we just finished doing the thing now we want to assign. So we're going to go to recent. I've got grade importing turned on. Classroom. Does it have the option here for it?
No, you got to go back to the form.
Okay.
And then up on settings, take it to quiz. Over on the far right at the top. Quizzes. And then
I might not have this feature turned on. If you guys have it, it may be something your district turned on.
Yeah, it's right there somewhere. I think it's down there where those other 3 are with the missed questions and the,
Okay.
hang on, I'm gonna look on one of mine.
You probably have it. Like mine is not a Google Enterprise account. It's just like mine that I pay like $10 a month for so that I can do these tutorials. So, but yeah.
Can you hear me still, Tyler?
Yes.
So I have a box on mine. It's a Chromebook feature. So it says locked mode on Chromebooks. And then it says respondents aren't allowed to open tabs or other applications while taking this quiz. Respondents must take this quiz using a managed Chromebook. And then there's a checkbox for me that says turn on locked mode.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a feature that you guys have within your district. So that is an excellent resource to do so that once they start taking the form, they're just taking that test. So that's great. Okay, let's look through here. Way to keep students from inviting. You could copy the question, just change the question. Correct answer. Yep, exactly. You could copy paste. Guys, copy paste is your best friend. I know we don't like it when our students do it on answers, but it is great for us in creating these resources, especially if you have something in like a PDF or a worksheet and you want to convert it over to a Google form. Okay, so somebody had a really good point. They said you can auto shuffle the answers. That is correct. So whenever you go here, where is it? Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this because I want you to do, okay. So, you know, I talked earlier about how I always have it as the third one is the correct answer and you can move them around. Yes, you can shuffle the question order. Hold on. No, you can shuffle the actual options in there. That's in here, I think. Let me check. Yep, there it is. So if you want to shuffle the question option, like whatever the answers can be, you turn this on, so it's going to shuffle these. Definitely have that turned on. The thing that I was going to warn you against is if you go to settings, presentation, and if you have shuffle question order on, that can really mess up your students, especially if like it's supposed to be in order and how they take it. Or like I had a facilitator do this and she got so mad. She was big time in a Microsoft Office. And when I was like, we use Google, please start using Google. She got so mad because she could not figure out. She would put an image in and then have 3 questions underneath that would apply to that image. Refer to the image above. When you have shuffle this on, it shuffles that question, the picture, it shuffles the questions. Keep in mind that if this is turned on, it's going to mess with where the questions are in order. So you need to be careful when you do and don't turn that on. So just throwing that out there.
Those 2 posts came when you were talking about having 20 multiple choice questions. And that was kind of the whole vibe with just copy the question. So like you create your question with all your math terms and I want kids to have to pick. So don't retype all those math terms for every question. Just copy that question 15 times, change the question. They always have the same 20 choices to choose from. And then now you use that shuffle the answer order thing to mix it up a little bit. And then you're not having to recreate the wheel for just over and over and over again.
Spot on. So what Zach's saying is like, say I make this question right here. I can just go up here to this little duplicate. See that? It's like little boxes. And when I do that, it duplicates the question and all the answers. So I could change the question, say, what is run? And then I can go into answer key and change what the correct answer is and make it the X value. So that's great because then you're not coming up with all of those things. Okay. Mediation might be an extra chance. Okay. Tyler, cheapskate. I mean, sure. Yeah, if I can save money, I will. I don't know what that was in reference to that I said, but yeah, I'll take that. Any ideas for first graders submitting work? Oh, okay. So great idea. I actually want to do this because I know we've got some people in here that teach like K1, 2, 3, and I've worked with kindergarten teachers, first grade teachers, younger teachers. Watch this. So if you're dealing with students who are younger, you have to keep that in mind when you're creating these questions. So let's say I make a question right here. Okay. Where did I go? I just added a section. I want to add a question. Where are they going? I'm adding it somewhere. I just got to find out where I'm putting it. Okay, here it is. Use pictures. So if I'm doing the question here and like say my kids can't read, I would say match. You can't read the word match. That's tough. But you would go here to this. I can search for an image and I could say red. I can post red. That picture is now my question. So you can make that your question, and then you can actually insert pictures as the options for the multiple choice. So I could go to Google image search, I could search red, and then I could pick, you know, a red apple, insert. Now that is, whenever they see this, if they're in lower grades, they can see photos and then try to match things up with photos as opposed to like having to read long sentences. So keep that in mind whenever you're dealing with students that are of younger grades. If they, oh, here's another thing. I don't know if I think I've told you guys this hack before, but a good hack for students that are younger or they can't type very well, what they can do is they can go into Google Docs. I don't think you can do it in Google Forms, but in Google Docs, you can teach your students to go to Tools, Voice Typing, and then click this. Now students can just talk and this will type it out for them. And then that way they can go into the Google form later and then copy paste their answers in based on what they need to tell you. And then you just, really all you're teaching them to do is that tool, copy, and then tell them to paste it into their Google form. So that's a way around it if your students don't know how to type. So I don't know if Cody's tired or if he likes that resource. Do you like the resource? I'm going to be real with y'all. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I got 3 kids that are low on the spectrum, or really high, whatever you want to say it, but really have a lot of accommodations based off of text to speech, things like that. We could not figure out how to use that within Google Docs. So that is a lifesaver for us.
That's awesome. I love this feature. I wrote like a 40-page paper on facilities one time while I was driving. I was just like talking to my phone, and it's just an incredible way to get a lot of information out. Now, granted, if you have an accent like I do, it doesn't always get all of the words correct, so it takes a while to proofread, but you know, for a lot of students, really you can get the gist of what they're saying. And just tell them, talk like a robot when you are talking to it. It works a lot better if you enunciate. So that's what I do.
Can you show that one more time, please?
Yes, of course. Yes, I would love to. Thank you, Trisha. So whenever you're in Google Docs, and I wish they would add this feature. There may be a feature in Google Forms to do this. I just don't know of it. Go to Tools right here, and you're going to go down to Voice Typing. It also looks like it's Command-Shift-S as well. Turns it on. That brings up your mic. Then you would click it. Now I can start talking. And also one of the cool things is if you need to end a sentence, you can say something like period, and it'll end the sentence, exclamation point. And then you can add punctuation, question mark. Next paragraph. I gave it a shot. I didn't know if it would do next paragraph or not. I was really just kind of playing that one on the fly. Okay.
Tyler, this is one that I've used a lot with my kid. I work in special ed, and so it does take a little bit of training, and you also have to make sure that your mic is accessible through your Chromebook. And one little tip that might help, I do this with a group of 3 kids in a writing group, but because I'm talking to another student, it messes up the student that's using this. So this is when we do use a breakout room, so they're essentially alone and it's quiet for them. So this is an awesome tool to use.
I agree. And that's all solid advice that Aaron just said. That's excellent. Thank you, Aaron. That was good. It is. And it can get loud in there, especially if you got kids like headphones, they got mics, and they're like talking to their Chromebook. Like, I get it. And it is hard. Breakout rooms would come in handy big time. Is it new paragraph, Debbie? I'm trying it. Here we go. We're trying it out. Here we go. New paragraph. Oh my goodness, we've done it. Oh my goodness. Sorry, that's my celebration dance. I'm not very good at dancing. Just like I'm not at singing. Okay, so believe it or not, I've never had formal training in either. We can believe it. Okay, awesome. I think we're reaching our max amount of time, but I do want to just tell you what the rest of the presentation had. Oh, I'm still talking into the Google Doc. I need to chill. Okay, sorry. So from there, email templates, and I've got links to a video walking through because I didn't know if I'd get to this, so I made like a video, or I attached a video that'll walk you through it. instead of you having to write the same thing over and over to parents about discipline or truancy or not showing up for a Google Meet, use some of these templates and set up what is called a template in Gmail to where you can just click it. It fills in the subject, all the text, and then you can just change what you need to change before you hit send. Okay. So I've got those templates, some example templates and video there on how to do that. And then ideally in the future, at some future talks we're going to do, we're going to talk about my favorite add-on in the history of Google add-ons, which is called Autocrat. When I was an administrator, I'm thumbs up. If I had more thumbs, I'd put more thumbs up. It saved me about a day a week of work because of what it automatically generated based on what teachers are putting in. So we're going to talk about that at a future date, but I've got a link to a video if you're interested and you want to glance at it or try it out beforehand. So excellent. Got some longer walkthroughs if you want more explanation. If you're like, Tyler, I just really like hearing you ramble on for 45 minutes. I'd love to see you do that about specific topics. You're in luck. I've got some videos linked for you to use if you want. So awesome. That's all I've got for you guys today. I really appreciate your attention. I appreciate the input. There was a lot of good give and take. If you have any questions that you want me to answer, or like if I reference a resource and you can't find it, hit me up and I'll send it to you at the earliest convenience.